Monsters roam the earth, in a future where few humans are left alive. When a young man decides to leave the safety of his bunker in search of his long-lost girlfriend, he'll learn just how little he knows about survival. With the help of other survivors and a friendly dog, he just might pull it off and get the girl. But he'll learn in the process that monsters aren't the only dangers he needs to worry about. After an asteroid threatens to destroy the planet, Earth sends rockets to break it apart. But this creates a chemical reaction that mutates Earth's creatures into giant monsters, which quickly take out 95% of the population. Now, Joel lives in a bunker, the only single man in a colony full of couples.
You guys' doors open, is that?
Keeping friendships with a cow and a broken robot named Mavis. Unskilled as a hunter, Joel acts as the colony's chef. He trains to become a better hunter, but has a long way to go. When something breaks in from the surface, their leader, Connor, tells Joel they can't risk letting him help. Connor kisses his wife Kala goodbye and goes to save the bunker.
Okay, yeah, so you guys don't get scared ever?
Joel watches on a monitor as the survivors are attacked and decides he has to do something. But when he sees a giant bug eating Connor alive, he freezes. As the ant draws closer, Joel gives up hope until two survivors rescue him. 7 years ago, Joel didn't live like this. He lived happily in Fairfield, sketching terrible portraits of his girlfriend Amy and making love in the back seat.
This has been the best summer of my life.
But the sounds of sirens and explosions told them that life was over. Now, Joel spends his time sketching a survival guide he can't even use, because the others won't let him fight. But that's all about to change. Joel still talks to Amy over the radio, dreaming he'll find her colony in person one. As Kala hangs Connor's hat on the bunker's memorial wall, Joel remembers the day he and Amy separated. As she left Joel to evacuate with his parents, Amy gave him a parting gift, Crocodile Carl, her good luck charm. As the colony argues over how the ant got inside, Joel interrupts to ask how long it would take to get to Amy's colony. It would take a week, but even an experienced hunter couldn't make it. Joel decides to try anyway.
I'm gonna go.
Packing food and a broken radio, he readies himself to visit the surface. The colony gives him a map and advises him to always run, never fight. Joel exits into the sunlight and starts heading west. The world around him is full of creatures, but none too threatening until he encounters a giant toad. After surviving its first attack, Joel finds himself face to face with a dog. It creates a distraction that allows Joel to run, but he's attacked and grabbed by the toad. The dog saves him and they flee together into a bus, where the dog closes the door. Joel learns from writing on the wall that the dog's name is Boy.
Is that your name? Boy?
And it's obvious that Boy is protective of his former owner's dress. When Joel tells Boy about losing his own girl, they form a bond that will soon save Joel's life more than once. After adding the toad to a survival guide, Joel finds a tube of lipstick and decides to keep it for Amy. He tells Boy goodbye and leaves, but Boy follows and has Joel bring the dress with him. They journey for miles, bonding further on the way. When Joel tries to eat a purple berry, Boy warns him against it.
But they look so good.
Joel won't believe how important this becomes later. When Joel falls into a pit and gets attacked by creatures called sand gobblers, he's saved by two new friends, Clyde and Minnow. They blow up the gobbler nest and allow Joel to travel with them. Minnow helps Joel with his target practice, teaching him to clear his mind. But when Clyde reveals that a large creature called a chumbler has been following Joel's scent from the sand gobbler pit, they have to keep moving.
Okay, then why are we still standing here?
Joel learns that since losing their families, Clyde and Minnow have teamed up to head north to the mountains, where the cold will keep the monsters away. Their conversation is soon interrupted when Clyde notices a boulder snail behind Joel. He has Joel remove his shirt, hiding it in the snail's shell before it crawls away. They tell Joel some creatures are friendly, and you can always tell from their eyes. Since this one now has Joel's shirt, it'll put the chumbler off their scent.
Boulder snails are nice.
When they make camp, Clyde questions if a girl is worth the trouble Joel's going through. As they continue their journey, Joel's target practice improves, and Clyde teaches him about survival. Joel learns that red ferns contain antivenom, and he learns that lizard monsters can't climb. Both facts he'll be grateful to know before his journey's over. Joel also learns that the sand gobblers he met were workers. If he sees a fin sticking out of the ground, it means he's found a queen. Finally, they reach a crossroad. Clyde and Minnow invite Joel to come north with them, but he's set on finding Amy. Minnow starts crying, but he gives her the lipstick to cheer her up and hugs her goodbye. Before they part, Clyde gives him one last piece of advice.
Yeah, what if I have terrible instincts?
Always trust your instinct. You'll make mistakes, but survive those and you'll be okay. Clyde gives Joel a grenade, and they leave Joel to finish his journey alone. When Joel makes it to an old summer camp, Boy gets scared and runs off to take cover under a giant duck. Joel tries to coax him out when a giant centipede rises from the ground behind him. He readies his crossbow, but the centipede lifts its back end and knocks him aside. As the centipede surrounds the duck, Joel remembers watching helplessly as his parents were taken from him. As the centipede prepares to eat Boy, Joel decides this time will be different. He fires on the centipede, ultimately taking it down. Happily, he embraces Boy, unaware their relationship will soon be tested. That night, Joel finds a working Mavis bot. She'd been bitten in half, but survived, and has just over 50 minutes of power left. He uses her to power his broken radio, making contact with Amy.
Amy, hey!
After Joel learns from Mavis that he's less than 10 miles from Amy's colony, Amy tells him a group of survivors have come to rescue them. But before Joel can learn more, the radio shuts off to preserve Mavis's last 15 minutes of power. She asks to spend her last moments outside, where she asks Joel if he wants to see a trick. Using nothing but his name and hometown, she's able to pull up pictures of his parents, giving him one last chance to speak with his mother. He tells her about his colony saving him and apologizes for not being able to help her. He hugs Mavis, and they watch a horde of friendly sky jellies floating overhead until Mavis powers down.
Thanks.
Joel continues his journey until Boy runs off. While chasing after him, Joel sees the fin of a sand gobbler queen and runs away to take cover, dropping his bag as he runs for a hollow trunk. The queen nearly finds their hiding spot, but eventually retreats. When Boy sees his owner's dress blowing into the water, he runs to get it, and the queen turns back. Joel runs for his bag and grabs the grenade, throwing it into the queen's mouth and blowing her up as he falls into the water. He swims to meet Boy on the other shore, where he finds his body covered with leeches. He quickly removes them and yells at Boy for risking their lives over a dress. Boy runs off, and Joel heads in the other direction.
We're supposed to care about each other, okay?
He starts to hallucinate and nearly passes out when he sees a red fern and realizes the leeches must have been poisonous. Eating the fern, he slowly starts to recover when he's found by Amy. She helps him up and they kiss, but he quickly passes out. When he wakes up in Amy's bunker, he learns that he was still hallucinating when Amy found him, and he actually kissed one of the elderly survivors from her colony.
You kissed old Pete.
Joel explores the bunker and finds it leads to a beach, where Amy introduces Joel to the survivors who've come to rescue them. Dana, Rocco, and their leader, Cap, the owner of a large yacht. Joel worries the handsome Cap might endanger his relationship with Amy, and he'll soon learn that he's correct in ways he would never have even guessed. In private, Amy admits that she's struggling with Joel's arrival. She loved talking to him on the radio, but never thought he'd actually come. In 7 years, she'd moved on, losing her new love to the monster. She's sorry for disappointing him, but hopes he'll still escape with them on the yacht.
I'm not the same person that I used to be, you know?
That night, Cap tells a story about losing 1,000 people to a lizard who climbed over their wall and attacked. He says that land will never be safe. They must escape to the water. Joel believes humans can fight to reclaim the surface, but Cap forces him to admit that he has no idea how they'd pull it off. Joel decides to radio his colony and check up on them. While he struggles to get a signal, a survivor brings him a snack from Cap. Joel looks at his map and finds messages on the back from his fellow colonists, asking him to come back soon. He finally gets a response from his colony, who are all excited to hear about his adventures on the surface. But things haven't been going well on their end. Several more creatures have broken into the bunker, and they're not sure they can stay much longer.
Man, I really miss you guys.
As Joel decides he needs to go back for them, he notices that the snack he was brought contains the purple berries Boy warned him about. He then remembers Clyde telling him that lizards can't climb, and realizes Cap's story was a lie. He rushes out to the beach and tries to warn Amy, but Dana knocks him out. When he wakes, the colony is tied up. Dana destroys their radio tower, and Cap explains that in a world without fossil fuels, they've had to use a monster to tow their yacht. They need people to keep it fed.
She will be hungry soon.
The colony panics as a giant crab emerges from the water. Amy manages to get free and break Joel's bindings, saying she'll stop Cap while Joel handles the crab. She rushes Rocco and knocks him out, but she's hurt in the process. Meanwhile, Joel wonders how he can fight the crab. Little does he know, help is already on the way. Joel grabs a weapon and charges the crab, throwing it onto its back. But Cap uses shocks to control it and make it fight back. Amy recovers and fights with Dana, but begins losing as the crab threatens Joel. Luckily, Boy returns to save the day. Dana tries to shoot him, but Amy causes her to misfire and hit the crab. Amy beats Dana down, but Cap quickly knocks her out. Joel has Boy help Amy while he again faces the crab.
Oh, get Amy.
Meanwhile, Cap and his crew escape toward the yacht. As Boy wakes Amy, Joel is disarmed and lifted into the air. Amy passes him Dana's dropped arm cannon, but Joel looks into the crab's eyes and realizes it's friendly. He blows up the chain, attaching it to the boat so that Cap can't control it anymore. The crab drops Joel and heads toward the yacht, eating Cap and destroying the ship. As Amy cares for the wounded, Joel prepares to return to his colony. He gives Amy back her good luck charm, along with his survival guide. Before he leaves, he gives her one last kiss. Joel returns to his colony, where he broadcasts his story over the radio to give hope that survival on the surface is possible. His colony and all those who listen to the broadcast prepare to head for the mountain. Clyde and Minna wonder if he'll make it, but agree that it just might be possible. Click one of the videos on screen right now.